I'm homeless, bitch. Like, my homegirl wanted to go to the party, and I'm like, bitch, I'm fucking homeless, and, like, I can't fucking just go party. Like, I need to be somewhere. I need to make money. So I went anyways. And then, like, there's this other girl that we were friends with, but we're not friends with her no more, and she stole my stuffed animal, so I can talk any shit I want about her.
Wait, what do you... Stop.
Bro.
We're stopping.
She just took it for no reason?
Full fucking stop.
Bro, I don't know what her reason was, but I was making more money than her in the club, and so, like, she was angry.
Why did you had a stuffed animal in the club?
Yes.
That's where I'm caught up.
Bro, it was my stuffed animal from childhood.
Oh, my God.
And it was, like, had a little secret compartment. I would hide shit in there.
Jesus.
There is... Oh.
That's so sad.
Right!
Right now, I'm exporting the PP cocaine interview. Actually, I'm not calling them interviews. I'm calling them conversations because they're not interviews. We ended up talking so much that it's split into 2 parts, and I actually really like that because I feel like there was a really solid end and then a really solid beginning to another one, and both are really good conversations. I'm enjoying the podcast so much. I'm so happy. I started the podcast last November, I believe, and it was at a time when I was really busy and really stressed, and there was just so much going on, like other shit in my life. Like I literally just moved, I met a new boyfriend, I was caught up in a bunch of personal drama. There was just so much going on that, like, the podcast, I couldn't figure out how to make it exciting and, like, work for me. And I've talked about a couple of the changes when I was transferring channels, but just, I wanted a facelift. I actually just had a call with the owner, I believe it's the owner, I should probably figure that out. No, I believe it's one of the co-founders of the media company who does my podcast, and he was asking me to explain, like, what's up with the seasons, like, is it the same show? Because obviously, like, talking to advertisers, there's some confusion, and I guess it's just what I told him is I just needed a facelift. I needed a fresh start because I just had so much anxiety and negativity attached to everything else, and this just feels like such a new, fun, different, explorative space. So I'm just really having fun here, but I don't know. I guess if people found the Burnout podcast and they liked what it was about, which, you know, I hope they do. It's fun times with cool people and interesting conversations and topics, and I think it's a great show. Like, I'm really fucking excited about it. But if people find that and then they went back to listen to, like, Unfollow Your Dreams, like in that little break where I really wasn't posting, but I kind of came back to the podcast before I was really ready to come off of my social media break. I came back because, like, people are counting on me. You know, there's a sales team that's doing their job, and I don't want to let down the sponsors. I don't want to let down the people who work on my show. Like, there was so much that was outside of me that I had to worry about when it came to the podcast. But that being said, like, I don't even know what I talked about in those episodes. You know what I mean? I was just holding back too much and wasn't in a very confident or secure place in a lot of ways, but we back. God, what was I even talking about? I swear to God, I turned on the camera because I wanted to talk about something specific. I don't know, dude. I gotta keep it real. I've had such bad anxiety the last, like, 2 days, and I was literally about to do a vlog the other day. Like, I think I almost started filming it too, about how it's really exciting to finally see what it's like when it got better. Because when stuff's bad, everyone's like, it gets better. And of course you tell yourself that, so you have to. So it's how you don't fucking kill yourself. Is you're just like, oh, it's gonna get better. And when it does, you're gonna look back at this time and won't even, you know what I mean? Like, it's a coping mechanism, it's survival. But, like, I've never really gotten over to that stage before. Or if I have, then I've seen, like, very small glimpses of it, or maybe my anxiety was just, like, more bearable that day, or whatever it is. But the past, like, month or month and a half, maybe 2 months, I've just been like, holy shit, like, I have no depression. I have no anxiety. I am truly so fucking content and happy where I am in life. And I talk about this on a podcast, I think, with Matt Stefanina, so I'm not gonna go super into it, but just in summary, it's just like, this is all just like the fucking bonus round for me. And that's like, that's been a big weight off my shoulders. It's been, God, did I talk about this on this channel already? It's so hard to remember, but just like nothing, I didn't know when enough was gonna be. And just knowing now that like, oh yeah, like, this is enough. This is fucking awesome. If you would have asked me as a kid, like, hey, just checking in when you're 29, like, here's what your life is gonna look like. Are you cool with that? Like, are you cool with what you've accomplished? Are you cool with like, you know, where you live and your situation in life and how you move about the world? And I'd be like, whoa, I did what? Like, you're talking to like child me right now? You did fucking what, dude? Are you kidding me? And then I just had this moment where I was like, dude, I did enough. Like, I'm enough. Everything I've done so far is fucking enough. I have proven whatever it was that I needed to prove to myself or whoever else I was trying to prove something to, because I realized that so much of my life came down to trying to prove stuff to people. Always. Like, I'm not just talking about since I've been on YouTube. Like, it's been like my whole life. Like, I just always had to prove that I was like worthy, or like, see guys, like you thought I couldn't do it and I did. Look, you didn't think I'd make it, but I did. Look, you didn't think that I was smart, but I am. You didn't think that I was talented, but I am. You didn't think that I could sing, but I do. Like, it was always, I don't know, because like I don't even know who's like, it's just like such a fucking textbook case of like, ugh, you didn't get like approval from your parents, you didn't get praise from your parents, so you sought it from all these external forces. But then you realize like, who cares? This is awesome. Like, I like have my own show that I love making, that like is my income. That's fucking awesome. Like, of course that's enough. Like, oh my God. So, and hey, I'm sorry also, like, I talked about this in my first vlog of my Vlogmas. Like, I want to talk about like happiness too, and I want to be able to express gratitude, and sometimes in expressing gratitude and recognizing like the privilege that I'm in to be able to do what I'm doing for a living, like, I do recognize that. And I think the reason that I like to talk about it is because I want you guys to understand how much it means to me. And I think that in doing that, sometimes it comes off as like bragging, like, dude, I did all this at 29. Like, I'm not trying to brag, dude. Like, I'm trying to say, like, if you like have to know what you're chasing. And I think a lot of people don't know what they're chasing. And I know I didn't. I know that I always told myself, I'll know it when I get there. I'll know it. And it was always like, it was shifting like without my knowledge and without my permission. Like, if you would have, you know, when I was starting Vine, if you would have told me, you're gonna get 1 million followers on Vine, I feel like I even remember being like, if I could just get 10,000 followers on Vine, that'd be so cool. Like, that'd be such a fun flex. And then it was like 1 million. And then eventually it was just like, yeah, of course I'm getting like another 1 million on Vine soon. Like, that's what Vine is. It just grows so fast. And then it was YouTube. And I told myself, well, if I got 1 million subscribers on YouTube and got 1 million plaque, that'd be great. Like, that'd be all I need. And then I was like, oh, now that I have like this audience, like, what else can I do? Oh, I know, if I could just like be a New York Times bestseller. And that's not to say that I don't love writing poetry, because I would have written a fucking memoir like every YouTuber. No offense to every YouTuber, but like, if I was just looking for a quick buck on that, I would have hired a ghostwriter to write a memoir. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to like share a piece of my brain. I wanted to like make something cool. And I love Dandelion, guys. This is resting on a stack of dandelions, so I'm not gonna move it. But check out my book. Anyways, seriously though, check it out. I'm proud of it. In fact, I think writing that book the memoir portion of it is what really kicked this tailspin for me. I wrote it when I was on my social media break, the 6-week one. And I'm so sorry if I've already talked about this. I'm glad I'm doing this though, because sometimes I have the same thoughts over and over and over again, and they're always kicking around in my head until I say them or write them down somewhere. So this really helps me like organize and release my thoughts and feelings. So thank you guys for like obliging me while I do this. But what was I talking about? Ugh. Oh my god. I don't remember. I guess that one's not gonna get processed. Maybe later. Because I feel like I've brought it up before and I'm sure I'll bring it up again. Oh, the book. Yeah, I think I put that portion off for a really long time because I didn't want to. I thought whenever I agreed to do the memoir portion, I was like, yeah, that's cool. I have stories. I've wanted to like tell some stories for a while. I definitely have some interesting ones I'd like to tell. And I had a list because I had planned on writing a real memoir one day, and I will. I'm very positive that I will write a memoir of my life because, oh my god. It's gonna be funny because you guys are gonna read it in like 5 to 10 years or something as like, oh, is that girl that was doing this thing? Oh, she's talking about, I wonder what that life was like. What's YouTube like? You know what I mean? And then it'll be cool, and you guys will love it, and I can't wait for the day that it's like, I'm nostalgia. Oh, I can't wait to be nostalgia. Maybe I already am. People call me a fad, so I think I am nostalgia, but I think it's fine. What are we talking about? The book. So, I had a list of stories. Some of them were more personal than others. And, because it was in the extras portion, it wasn't like, it was like 5 to 10 stories I was writing. So as I was looking at the list, all of the ones that I had considered writing, like there's a story that I kind of loosely touched on in my first book about how I signed up for track and field because it was the only sport that I could afford as a kid, because it was like a $25 sign up, or maybe it was a free sign up or something. And now I remember cheerleading was a $35 sign up, and it was like a big deal, and like I felt so guilty about it, and I couldn't decide like if it was worth it, and like if it was like a waste of money, and if I could have like used the $25 on someone else or something else, I mean. So I think it probably was a free sign up. So then I went and got running shoes from Payless and Champion, which is actually really ironic now because Champion is such a like hip trendy thing. It's so fucking funny how that works out. So if you guys ever see me rocking Champion, it's actually for this reason. They were Champion shoes because that was the Payless brand at the time. And then somehow they finessed their way into Urban. Anyway. And I was lacing them, and I remember kids literally like pointing and laughing and like talking about the fact that my shoes were from Payless. And I was just like, whoa. I hate the way this feels. This is so bad. I hate this. And it was like all the popular kids, like they all had friends. And that's another tailspin that I'll go on a different day, because that's like a whole different direction for this. And just like the way I perceived friendship for so long was abuse, because I was just bullied my whole life and I didn't have friends. So like I just saw the bullies and like the people with friends, like the mean girls, those were the popular kids. So that's how you make friends. And then I like got it in my head that like talking shit and like gossiping, like, oh, that's just venting, because that's what everyone did about me and that's what everybody did about everybody else. And I was so far on the outside looking in social situations like my whole life that like I was like observing and copying social shit because I didn't have any fucking friends, because I was poor and weird and annoying. And I had fucking very weird teeth, which I mentioned plenty of times in my book, I think. But when it came to write the actual book, I was flipping through the stories, and the stories like the Payless one, like I would have told that story and tried to give the message that like, damn, that's crazy how much I held myself back in that situation, because I quit. I literally quit track and field my first day because I was so embarrassed that I had Payless shoes. And I let that affect me. I did. I made that choice that like I cared what those people thought. The people who laughed and pointed at my shoes. Why did their opinion matter so much to me? And I let that affect my whole life. Like I followed that suit, and like the universe just kept trying to teach me that lesson of like, don't seek out the approval of mean people. Because my whole life I've just sought out the approval of mean people because I'm seeking out approval from the people who remind me of my mother. I get it. Freud. We all get it. But yeah, it's what I was doing. So I just like kept trying to make friends with toxic people because it seems like toxic people are always the most popular. And then I would also be toxic because that's what all of the popular toxic people were doing. And then it would just be a big unhappy toxic thing. And then I'd not do that anymore. Like I couldn't handle being in those like situations, you know what I mean? It's just nuts, like the same thing, like childhood to adulthood. Finally now, not, you know, thank God, but anyway, the book. This summer I was looking at those stories, trying to like think, okay, yeah, I could tell this story and talk about how you hold yourself back and your own worst enemy, and you know, the possibilities I closed for myself by caring about the opinion, whatever. It just didn't feel, I didn't want to. Like I was like, this is fine, whatever. And then I finally, I didn't know how to do it because I've not let myself. I don't even really let myself physically journal. I always have to like write a blog post or do a video, but like to just sit with my own thoughts and really write out how I feel. I've never done it. And that's what I've been doing this month, which is why my life is so much better now. So I started writing about the like really heavy shit. And it was the first time I ever like really, really dug into a lot of stuff in that book. And let some weight off my shoulders in some way. And like attempted to open a line of communication to healing with that shit. I just think that was like such a start of an amazing journey. And it's really so fucking crazy. Like, I've never not been through something horrible and come out not better on the other side. It's never happened. It's always better. Not just like me as a person in terms of like getting stronger and growing and deciding what matters and humbling myself, like checking my ego. Like that shit is great. But even like career-wise, it always makes sense when you're in that place too. Because now I just look at all the shit that like I needed to leave the internet for 6 weeks. Period. I needed to. And I needed to be forced out because I have other shit that I should be doing. I don't know how to say that right. This version of my life is better, is what I'm saying, I guess. Where like I'm actually doing shit I love. And I did love YouTube for a while. And then I think I told myself I loved YouTube when I didn't. And then I tried to love YouTube. And then it was fun and it was exciting. And sometimes it was exhilarating when you made a really cool video. It was fun to push yourself out of your comfort zone. But like, it just did not do for me what like music does for me, or writing, or like this new show. Like these types of projects are just more fulfilling, and I wouldn't have gotten here if I didn't start over if I didn't have to start over. And like, I would have signed a really bad deal last year. And now I get to sign a great one. Like, that's awesome. It just always works out like that. Like, I truly believe that the universe, like, guides you and protects you. And when I say the universe, I think you guys know that I interchange that with God, or energy, because I'm still trying to figure out what it is I believe in. And hey, why don't we figure it out now? This is gonna take a weird turn, this vlog. Let's do it. So, you guys may have seen lately that I've been like tweeting a lot about aliens, you know, casual stuff, posting about aliens. I've just like really found this fascination with aliens because here's the way I see it. It's not that crazy of an idea at all. So like, I think that we should at least at this point all be able to get on board with that aliens is not that crazy of an idea. Like, we human beings, we're idiots. We're so primal. We're still so underdeveloped as a species, and we flew to the fucking moon. That's amazing. If you would have told somebody 200 years ago, hey, we're gonna fly to the fucking moon, they'd be like, huh? No. And then you'd be like, fucking yeah. The first one, if you think it was a hoax, we've definitely done it since for sure. So, if that's possible, then in all of the other, there's galaxies out there, dude. Like, so many fucking galaxies. There's no other way to say it except, like, if you think we're the only things on this planet, like, or in the galaxy, in the universe, there's shit so far away we can never see, understand, comprehend, touch, get near, send a camera to. Like, there's shit so far away. You think there's no one else kind of like us in some way, even if they look a little different or stand a little different? Like, dude, there's no way. There's other species of this for sure. So I'm just gonna assume you believe me on that too, or that you are also on the page with, okay, definitely out there in the massive, vast galaxy, there's other things, right? Right, we're there. So if we, a very pretty young breed, species, whatever you want to call us, we're only, I don't know how old humans are. I'm not gonna Google it right now, but like, we're still comparatively to the universe and the beginning of time, very young. So this is how far we've gotten. If there's civilizations that have lived for billions of years, millions of years, whatever, longer than us, and their technology's better and increasing at the speed that our technology increases or faster, if we can fly to the moon, why can't they fly to us? And I hear a lot of people be like, I believe in aliens. I don't think they're talking to people on Earth. Why? If you believe they're real, why is it hard for you to, like, imagine that they might try to communicate with us? Like, we communicate with animals. I think that they look at us, I tweeted this, like the way we look at third world countries and we're like, there's technology and we can help, and, you know, with modern medicine and getting fresh water and these things that to us we take for granted in, you know, first world countries, they look at us like, you're still driving fucking cars, dude? You're still on wheels? You're still burning fossil fuels? You're still running energy like that? Like, you guys haven't figured this shit out yet? Like, you guys have climate change? You guys have war? Like, you guys have poverty? Like, what the fuck is going on? Why are you guys so hostile? Why are you so mean to each other? And we're just like, no, we don't want your help. Well, I guess I'm thinking of a lot of stuff that I'm actually having Dr. Greer on the podcast. I'm really excited about that. Because like, when I talk about aliens and I get so excited about it and the possibility of aliens, I notice a lot of people who are like very excited about aliens are very excited about aliens. And that's why people think they're crazy, because they're like, dude, no, like aliens are real. And like they want you to believe it so badly. And the reason that it's so exciting and why people get so excited by the idea of it, which in my opinion, we can all agree that it's not unlikely that aliens exist. That would mean that they have technology, elements, methods, like science, meditation, like shit that we can't even comprehend. And if they share that with us, that solves world hunger, that solves poverty, that solves war, that solves climate change. Like it solves the way we transport, travel. It would make it so that we live a life where we can actually enjoy our lives and we don't work and grind to the bone to enjoy our lives, because we provide our own energy. We provide our own food. We grow our own shit. Like we are self-sustaining creatures because our technology is so good that we move beyond the need for even needing nutrients in that way, whatever it is. And we're just denying that help because, okay, that's a whole other thing. I can't get into that right now. We'll get into it when we talk to Dr. Greer. Should I tell you guys about the UFO I saw? Yeah, of course, I have to now. So when I was 9, I've told this story so many times before, but I can never remember when I told it, who I told it to, like the situation in which I told it. But I always get the feeling of like, why do I always get so excited about having this memory and then I lose interest in it so quickly, even though like I know it's real? This memory was embedded in different dreams and different trips, and everything was warped like a Van Gogh. Was it Van Gogh? Salvador Dali painting. And I was like, I know the memory is me in a circle of tents looking up at the sky seeing a UFO. But where was my mom? Where was my dad? Where are my sisters? Why can't I picture anybody? Why would I be in a situation where I was camping in a circle of tents without them? So like the dream was like so buried and convoluted. So I was telling Peyton about it and he was like, well, why don't you ask your mom or somebody like about a camping trip? And I was like, okay, I guess. So then I asked my mom and she was like, oh yeah, we went on a camping trip to Pymatuming. It was raining and I made your dad set up the tent and it stopped raining as soon as he was finished setting up the tent. So he got mad because he was wet for no reason and he said he was sleeping in the car. And then she must have been in the car with him or pouting somewhere or something. And then my sister, I remember her just being in the tent because like she just loved the idea of like having her own space. And I just remember that like her being like, she was like a hamster. She loves cozy little spaces. And then I left the tent and I was getting a moon pie. And I was just like eating a moon pie. The fire was going out because like it was for sure like bedtime at the campsite. So there were these coals that were going out and I was out there and it felt wrong being out there because I was a kid and it was dark and the fire was out and it was kind of scary, but it felt cool and I felt rebellious and it was such a strange new experience for me. I'd never been out in the woods in the middle of the night, like in that way. So I'm chilling out there eating a moon pie and then I look up to the sky and like we're in the woods, so it's like between trees and there's this light that just expands over the entire sky and I'm staring at it like wondering if it's an explosion, and then I feel what I can only describe as a sonic boom. Like it sounds so ridiculous, but it was like this like everything was like quiet for a moment, and it just surrounded you like a, and it was just like, it felt like, I imagine it felt like what it would feel like to be in a deprivation tank, but I had my vision. So, but like sonically, it was like that. Pure silence is what I'm trying to say. And then we look up at the sky, and I say we because there was definitely somebody else there. And these triangular lights just appear and start blinking in a triangular formation. And I literally remember thinking, this is what they fucking say they see on TV. Like, I felt like I was in a fucking TV show or a movie. Because I was like, oh my God, this is literally exactly what they say happens. And everybody says it's a hoax. And I was staring at it. And my eyes were just like wide fucking open. Like, am I about to get fucking abducted by aliens? And then the lights were gone. And the sky swallowed up the light again. And there was, I think it was another kid. Like, that's the part that's so blurry, is like, nobody that I knew was there. It was like strangers. But I remember being like with somebody else, oh my God, that was a UFO. That was aliens. And trying to tell people in the campsite. My parents were in the car. And there was like one person that was just like, it was thunder and lightning. You kids were seeing things. And we're just like on the same page. Like, no way. You know what I mean? Like, I know what lightning looks like. And when I first saw the initial flash in the sky that filled the sky for a really long time, like, of course, it crossed my mind. Like, that might be really close lightning. Maybe it's going to hit a tree. Maybe it's a bomb. Like, other things came to mind first before I was like, that's a fucking UFO. And then with the triangular flashing lights, I was like, that's a UFO. And just nobody ever believed me. So then I just forget about it sometimes, because it just became like one of those stories of like, I don't know, I don't tell my ghost stories anymore either. Because it got boring, I guess. Because it's just like, okay, well, I thought I saw a ghost. But I guess I can't really prove that. And even if I could, what would it matter? But I don't believe in ghosts anymore, so that's interesting. That's something too that crosses my mind a lot. And I actually had like a very serious sit down talk with Peyton. And I was like, I mean this, like, I'm not joking. Watch me. Like, make sure that I'm not like really going off the rails. You know what I mean? Because right now I'm just theorizing, and I'm having fun thinking about it, and I'm passionate about it because there's a lot of information about it. And I think a lot more information is going to be becoming available really soon. And I truly think that we're probably going to be seriously faced with aliens in our lifetime. Like, for real. But does that make me crazy? You know? But I really don't think so. But I told Peyton, like, you know, be careful with me. Like, just keep an eye out. And, like, if you actually start getting concerned for, like, my sanity, I need you to, like, keep it real with me. Because that is a fear. Because I have a really active imagination and ADHD. So, like, that hyperfixation with, like when I get an idea, I run with it. And I get so obsessed with it. Like, I had this theory that I've been talking about nonstop for the past, like, week, that my mouth is so dry, and I want to get into this, like, for real, so I'm going to get some water. Now, as I say this, I don't want anyone to think that, like, I'm trying to, like, disrespect their religion, or that I even really believe this myself. It's just, like, this theory that got stuck in my head, and I think about it a lot. Like, we might all be saying the same thing in different words, and all religions are actually, like, telling the story of something that happened and they just perceived it differently. Because most of them have some version of God. But at the end of the day, they're all really similar things, right? So like, what if, this sounds so terrible, but it's just because the word alien, dude, like alien just means not native. Not that, you know what I mean? So like they're aliens because they're not native to our planet, but like the word alien is like, ooh, bleep, bleep, bloop. Like, no, dude, like if there's, I also believe that like aliens are just, it's not my belief, it's like the theory of aliens is that they're operating on like a different level of consciousness. So like when I think about consciousnesses in the context of what is a consciousness? What is consciousness? It's who you are. It's like what clicked on and you're like, oh, I'm a human being and like this is my life and like I'm very aware of everything. I'm conscious. That's your conscious. And like I think that's probably interchangeable with soul, and people are just using different words for the same theories because one is rooted in Western religion and Renaissance art and one is based on something else. You know what I mean? Like, so if consciousness is who you are, your personality, your awakeness, that's a soul. That's exactly what a soul is. It's who you are. It's inside. And if you are just energy and energy doesn't die, your energy lives on, I don't think it's very far-fetched to believe that that energy does exist in some form. So your consciousness moves on, your soul moves on. Where that goes, we don't know. Whether it goes straight there, we don't know. Whether it goes into a billion different things, we don't know. Whether it goes into one other object or living thing, we don't know. But we know energy doesn't die. And we know that consciousness, so hard to explain. Okay. I'm going to explain how I think aliens might operate. So I've had a couple experiences with astral projection in my life where I have either in a dream or like in a dream state left my body and went other places. I was able to what felt like transcend dimensions and exist on a different plane apart from my body as myself. And I've done that before on accident. I've never accessed it on purpose, but there was a time recently when I was really in the thick of healing, I think, that I sat on the shower floor and I let the water just run down my back and my neck and my face, into my mouth, into my nose, into my eyes. And I just really focused on my breathing because I couldn't breathe. I was drowning myself essentially. But I could. But if I breathed in too hard, then the water would go up my nose. So I just had to really and I just did it a few times. And I went to the ocean in my mind. And I'm not saying I imagined the ocean, unless you'd like to use that word. If it makes you feel more comfortable to think of it as your imagination, I believe that that is what your consciousness is. So in my imagination, I was in the ocean and I felt it. It was cold and it was wet all around me, even though The shower was hot and it was muggy and steamy. It was cold but not freezing because I was pretty close to the surface because I could hear the waves crashing above me in a very muffled underwater way. And I could feel my body jerking with the waves. Not super tough because like I wasn't on top. Like it was just being in the ocean. And I got to experience the ocean without needing to breathe. Because I was breathing. I was breathing in my shower, in my house, because I was here. But my brain was in the fucking ocean. My body, my consciousness, the imaginary body that I created was in the ocean. It could feel the foam and the bubbles. It could see the darkness of the ocean. Oh, it was really fucking cool. So with me, somebody who's like fundamentally inept, if I can be in the ocean, anybody can be fucking anywhere. And I think that that's how a lot of like aliens would operate, is a much, much higher sense of just consciousness. And if everybody was just consciousness, then everything would be peace. Like, if you would achieve that level of enlightenment to be able to operate solely on your consciousness, it's what fucking monks are doing all day, dude. If you reach that level, like, you're peaceful as fuck. So everyone that reaches that level is super peaceful. That's fucking heaven. That's nirvana. But like, Earth is hell. Like, we're in it. We're trying to like earn our way to the top. You know what I mean? And I think what I'm really saying is like, the existence of aliens actually, to me, is more proof of religion and God. Because it's just, it comes down to fucking semantics. What you call the universe, you call God, you call energy. What you call heaven, you call nirvana. They're, you know?